Welcome race fans to round number 2 of the AMA Pro Hillclimb Series. Today's event brought to you by Earls of Indy, Dyno Port, Psychomex Graphics, and Weisco Performance USA. We are in Freemansburg, Pennsylvania at the Bushkill Valley Motorcycle Club for round 2 of the AMA Pro Hillclimb Series. This motorcycle club has been an AMA sanctioned chapter since 1937. The crowd has been lined up since 6 o'clock this morning to get a prime seat for the action. This is a 500-foot hill here today, much different than what we saw last weekend in York, Pennsylvania. It was only about a 300-footer, but this one is one of the nastiest on the tour. Now you can see down here at the bottom, nearly 550 feet below us, the starting gate kind of starts off not too steep. There's a little skipper jump down at the bottom before gate number 1. Then it's 3 jumps back to back to back, all about 40 yards apart. And every time you hit a jump, the hill gets that much steeper. These guys are going to be flying through the finish line here today. And I'll tell you, this hill is going to be one of the highlights of the AMA Pro Hillclimb Series. Well, it looks like we are ready to go green. First class in the hole, the 450cc Pro Class. And your first rider, let's take a look, the 801 out of Nazareth, Pennsylvania. That's going to be Dan Storm. Took 9th place in 2015 here in the Pro Sport class on an RMZ 450. Now, keep in mind, these are factory stock motorcycles. With the exception, they are allowed to run that extended swing arm, and they are allowed to run that paddle tire. But nevertheless, that's a long, steep hill for these 450s, and you're going to see as they get up close to the top, it's going to be tough to keep their momentum up. As you can see there, Dan Storm have a little bit of trouble. He's going to try and be our first time of the day, and he is. Not a bad run, 19.353. And that puts us on to Joseph Lowe out of Logan, West Virginia. Rookie of the Year 2014, Extreme Rookie of the Year of 2016. Ride today for Alias Motocross, Mika Metals Hot Rod Racing. He'll try and set fast time number 2. Again, time to beat right now, 19.3. Joseph Lowe on the Kawasaki 450. I think he's going to get it. He does. Good run for Joseph Lowe, 17.8. And now on to Nick Briggs, 2015 Pro Sport National Champion, riding for NTF. Dirty Dan Watson Racing, Ogio Atlas Brace. So YZF 450. Briggs out of Belmont, New Hampshire right now. Fast time, Joseph Lowe, 17.8. And Briggs up that right-hand side, and he gets slowed up a tick, but will turn in a time. Not too bad for him, 17.9. And now your reigning national champion, Jay Solstrom. Wow, and Jay throwing down a big time down here at the bottom so far. A little loose there through that gate. Right today for Ty Lube, FMC Dyno Centers, Yamaha FXR SSI. 4-time national champion, new fast time for Jay Solstrom, 15.33. And now John Flying Kester. The story here, the RMC broke down last weekend, York, Pennsylvania, and he is back this weekend on a Honda 450 from full travel suspension, Dyno Port exhaust. And John Flying Kester, he's got it hooked up right now. He is going to push Solstrom, who has been unstoppable for a time, and he gets it, a 14.6. So that is a great finish in the first round of the 450 class. John Kester with a 14.6. Solstrom this time in the number 2 spot. Meanwhile, Joseph Lowe and Briggs just 1/10 of a second apart. Dan Storm rounds out your top 5 with a 19.353. Well, Freemansburg, Pennsylvania, it's time for a little nitromethane as we move on to the extreme class. Here today, it's round number 1, and we're going to start it off right with Vinny Nuzzolelli, your 2-time national champion in the big bike class. And he is on deck next on a CBR 637 on 100% nitromethane out of Monson, Massachusetts. And Vinny, did you hear that? That thing just revved out all of a sudden. And he brings it to a stop, and I'm not sure if that was a chain or maybe a transmission problem. But a heartbreaker for Vinny. Wow. Taking a look at Molly Carbon, had a great weekend in York, Pennsylvania, round number 1 last weekend. Got a chance to talk to her before the race. Here's what she had to say. Molly, we're here in round number 2.
just coming off of York, Pennsylvania. You have some great runs in York. Can we continue the success here today in Freemansburg?
I know I can continue the success. I'm confident with my bike, and the hill looks amazing. It's not my favorite hill, but it's the best I've ever seen it, so I'm excited to get out there and ride.
How's Libhart Racing got these bikes dialed in this weekend?
Oh, they're perfect. They're always perfect, and I can't thank Phil enough for building me one of the best bikes.
All right, good luck to you today, Molly. We'll be rooting for you.
Thank you.
All right, back to the bottom of the hole. Here she is, the number 32. It's that nitro-injected Triumph. Ride today for Carbon Racing out of Bellingham, Massachusetts, Molly Carbon. And she will try and turn in good time here today. Molly Carbon on that throttle right now, goes into gate number 3. And man, does she got a hold of it right now. Is she going to get a time? She is. And you can hear the crowd. They love Molly Carbon, and a 16.328 for Molly. And now Justin Fowler, Rush, Kentucky. His hometown on a CR 500 two-stroke. Now look at this thing go. He has got this CR hooked up right now. Ride today for James ATV and Cycle. Jack Fannin, Hudson Beacon Metals, Factory Effects with a 15.5. And now on to Alex Erickson from Muskegon, Michigan. That's CBR 600 on 100% nitro. You can hear the horsepower of that unit. Riding for Craig and Anthony Dehart behind bars, Watson Racing. We going to get another time? We are. A 14.444, and he goes a little heavy through that finish line, gets it turned back around. And now Jay Solstrom, that Yamaha R6 on 100% nitro. We saw it last weekend. It was one of the top bikes. Riding for Tyler's FNC Dyno Centers. 4-time national champion Solstrom. Is it a new fast time? He does it. He gets it. Jay Solstrom with the 12.131. Now the twin to that R6 is Corey Strickler out of Delta, Pennsylvania. Riding for Delta Gas Incorporated, Dr. Bob Racing. And Strickler. Here he comes now. Right at it. Leaks through. Gate number 2 on his way to the top. Is he going to be a contender? He is. Corey Strickler at 13.084 as he peels off. And man, these guys are running tight here today. Bill Libhart had trouble in York, Pennsylvania, trying to get her dialed back in. The 1973 T140 Triumph at East Petersburg, Pennsylvania. Run number 1 for him. A little loose there through that midsection. Oh, and nearly vertical as he tries to keep that front end down. That was a crazy run for Libhart, 13.6. And now John Flying Kester. So fast in that 150 class on that new Honda out of Hornell, New York, and he is on target. He is on target for a fast run right here. 600 cc's nitro injected it is. A new fast time, a 9.941. And right now it is Kester in the first round of racing action here today. Trying to get her shut down. What a run for JFK. Wow, man, look at that recap. A 9.9 for John Kester. Look how fast he was compared to Solstrom's 12.1. Strickler with a 13.0, Libhart 13.6. Alex Erickson with a 14.444. That's going to mean round number 2 is going to be a good one. Well, one more class to go here in round number 1. It's the unlimited class, the top fuel class of the AMA Pro Hillclimb Series, and we kick it off with Corey Strickler out of Delta, Pennsylvania. It's a Yamaha R1. Nitro injected right today from Delta Gas Incorporated, Dr. Bob Racing. And Corey Strickler to the top of the hill. He'll try and set that fast time. And Corey put together a solid run through the last jumper. Now to the timing lights, his time. How about that? Corey Strickler with the 12.846. That's going to be the time to beat. Now on to John Flying Kester. Right now he is 1-1 in the first 2 classes out of Hornell, New York. It's that big old nasty 1190 on 100% nitro methane, looking good. No, and John Kester goes wide open out of bounds up the left-hand side. That bike stayed wide open as it flew to the air. Here's take a look at the replay. And And you can see right here, everything was looking good until that point right there. That motorcycle goes flying. John Kester crashes into the side of the mountain. And man, so close to being a disaster for Kester, and looks like he's going to walk it off. That's the good news. So hopefully Kester, with a little help from the hill workers, will be back out in round number 2. Now, Giacomo Baldina. Can he finish this weekend on the podium? The number 43 out of Brimfield, Massachusetts, on that aggressive Graphic Parker Construction CBR 997. Looking for a good time out of Giacomo Baldina. And here he comes now to the top of the hill. His time, 13.825, so not quite as fast as Strickler. Joseph Lowe, 1000cc Gixxer out of Logan, West Virginia. Back again from Alias Motocross, JT Motorsports, FMT, Mika Metals, Hot Rod Racing. And the Gixxer, you gotta love the sound of him. Wide open to the top. And Joseph Lowe is up among the fast, 14.8 for him. Now your reigning national champion. One of the nastiest bikes on the tour, the Yamaha R1, nitro injected from Tylube, FNC Dyno Centers, Yamaha, FXR, SSI decals, name brand media, Mika Metals, 4-time national champion out of Mankato, Minnesota. He will now try and take the fast time away from Corey Strickler. We'll watch the clock on this one. Sahlstrom hooked up right now. The time to beat, 12.846. A little slow through the midsection. Can he put it back together? He does. He does, just in time. Sahlstrom 11.823. So after round number 1 of the Unlimited class, it's Jay Sahlstrom on top at 11.8. Corey Strickler just 1 second behind with the 12.8. Giacomo Baldina, Phil Libhart, and Joseph Lowe round out your top 3. Well, we had a chance to talk to some of those top riders after round number 1, including JFK, about that horrific crash.
John Flying Kester, I cannot believe what we just witnessed. It's amazing that you were even able to walk away from that crash. Take us through what happened.
Yeah, I was going up, and I had a great run going, and one of my throttle body carb boots that keep all the dirt out got stuck in the butterfly valve and held it about quarter throttle. And with these nitro bikes, you can have it just off idle, and it's going to go, and I couldn't stop it. So I was along for the ride, and right at the end, I bailed just in time.
Well, let me ask you, any problems to the motorcycle, and how are you doing?
I feel great. I had someone watching over me on that one, but the bike got a little beat up, but it's good enough to go for another round, so we'll see if we can get it again. My mechanics been over here working on it for ever since I wrecked, so they got her going good, and we'll be back out.
Well, folks, look at this. You know what this is? This is the lever on the handlebars, and that thing bent completely in half. Good thing that was the brake lever, not you, John.
Yeah, if my finger in there, it would have hurt for a minute, but thankfully it wasn't, so we'll be back out.
Good luck to you in round number 2.
Thank you.
Corey Strickler, you got to be excited right now. After round number 1 in that extreme class, you're on the podium with John Flying Kester and Jay Sahlstrom. How's that make you feel?
Feels great. You know, every week we're getting better and better and better. So, you know, one of these days it's going to happen, and I'm going to get past these guys, and it's going to be a good day for me and my whole team.
How about them sponsors bringing you out here this weekend?
Yeah, I would like to thank Delta Gas Incorporated, Dr. Bob Racing, Access Media Lab, Fredericktown Yamaha, Miller Welding, MHP, Bell Helmets, you know, everybody that supports me. I couldn't do it without them.
Go get them in round number 2, buddy.
All right, thanks.
Well, race fans, there's no doubt Verticross is a highlight here at the Freemansburg Hill Climb. We started off with 10 bikes, whittled it down to the top 3. Here's your semifinals right here. Top 2 will advance. Kester, Libhart, and Van Assen. And they're on it. Kester gets out to a good hole shot. He's going up the left-hand side of the hill, but watch out what happens to Libhart right here. He goes down. Van Assen is able to make the pass. Meanwhile, Kester rides it up and over the top. And would you believe Van Assen finds himself in the finals. Now look on the right-hand side of your screen. That's Kester and Sahlstrom virtually handlebar to handlebar. And they leave the line. Kester gets pushed to the left. Sahlstrom goes right up to the middle. Van Assen still in the hunt. Now watch what happens. They get up to gate number 3. It looks like it is Sahlstrom all the way. Kester tags that back wheel. He goes down. Sahlstrom takes the win, but look at this. Van Assen makes the pass to finish up in the number 2 spot. Hats off to Van Assen. Wow, what a ride for him. All right, well, it's time for the recap of round number 2 of the 450 Pro class. Round number 1, it was John Kester with a 14.4. Here's Phil Libhart's second run. Libhart, round number 1, only took a distance at 300 feet. It's the YZM 450 Yamaha from Worley and Orbit's Factory Connection KBR. So Libhart trying to give it one more try, gets up to the top of the hill. Not a bad run, but that 14.6 out of Kester was so fast. Libhart turned in a 16.4, and then it was on to Joseph Lowe. Again, Joseph Lowe, second run. Logan, West Virginia rider. It's a Kawasaki 450, and Lowe's first run was a 17.884. He gets up to the top of the hill. He actually shaved almost a second and a half off his first run, but had to settle with a 16.1. And then it was Giacomo Baldina in round number 2 who came back strong. Giacomo Baldina would finish up in 3rd place with this run, 15.6, after having to take a 305-foot distance in round number 1, but again, could not find the extra 2 seconds to edge out Kester. And then it was the final run for Jay Sahlstrom, the last rider to try and edge out John Flying Kester on that new Honda 450. 14.6 was the fast time. Jay was 1.3 seconds off on his first run. Kester was hoping he had a one and done. Will he have a one and done? Sahlstrom coming up to the top of the hill, wanting to downshift, couldn't make it happen, and he does. Kester a one and done. So John Kester celebrates the 450 win as we move on to the highlights of the extreme class. And we start off with the 359 of Justin Fowler. It's that 2-stroke, that CR500 back in the hole. His first run was a 15.5. He settled into the number 4 spot. Would he move up a spot or 2? Here we go. We're going to find out. Fowler on that throttle. Man, does that 2-stroke sound good. Wound wide open from James ATV and Cycle. He'll turn in a 13.2. Great run for him. He'll stay in the number 5 spot. Now on to Strickler. Strickler so wanting a podium and so close. The Yamaha R6 dialed in. Corey looks flawless. He had a 13.0. Chews his way to the top. Does he get faster? He does not. He turns in a 13.6, just a tick slower there. And then Phil Libhart, he's on the podium this week, but where will he finish? Out of East Petersburg, Pennsylvania. Here he comes. First run was a 13.6. Second run, does he get faster? A little bit of a bobble there and turns in 11.6, still not fast enough. And then Jay Sahlstrom. First run, 12.1. He needed a 9.9 to beat Kester. Pressure was on for Sahlstrom. He is going wide open, a little sideways, lands it. I don't see where he can clean it up much. 10.8, and Kester would win again. Well, just when we thought things couldn't get any more exciting, well, we moved on to the unlimited class, the top fuel class, and here's what happened. Corey Strickler on the Yamaha R1, 100% nitro methane. So wanting a podium spot, and man, is he riding good today. Strickler, first run was a 12.8. Here he comes to the top of the hill. Will he move on to the podium? He is right there at 12.6, just misses. And then Alex Eriksson took 235 feet in round number 1. Totally off the radar on the CBR 1000, but not in round number 2. Here he comes to the top. He turned in an 11.8. He take home a number 4 spot. And then the story of the day will be John Kester with 3 wins. He needs an 11.8. We watch the clock. Jay Sahlstrom, your leader in round 1. Kester looking for all 3 classes. Does he get an 11.8? An 11.0. He takes the lead, and then Sahlstrom comes back out. Would you believe this? Solstrom, now in the number 2 spot, needs an 11.0 to keep Kester from sweeping all 3 classes. The Yamaha R1 to the top, and the time would be a new fast time, a 10.5, and Solstrom takes the lead. 1 rider to go. Out of Monson, Massachusetts, a CBR 997, ladies and gentlemen. He crashed at 450 feet in the first round, having a horrible day. And Vinny Nuzzolilli from Troy Lee Design, Watson Racing, Spy Optics to the top of the hill, 10.4. He takes the win. Vinny Nuzzolilli takes the win, and it was incredible. Here's what the riders had to say.
Race fans, we are here with Vinny Nuzzolilli. Vinny, congratulations today. Exciting racing. It always is out of you. What I have in my hand, though, is what is left of gear number 2 out of that transmission of that extreme bike. Folks, look at that. Tell us what happened, Vinny.
Yeah, you know, about that 200-foot mark, the bike just revved to the moon and stopped it, killed it, and looked down. The chain was still all intact and everything, but when we got down, we switched through all the gears, and unfortunately, that gear was just not there. We took the bottom out, and the pieces were lying in the oil pan. So unfortunate break on the extreme bike, but we'll get it fixed up for Tennessee.
Man, that's a heartbreaker. Well, let's talk about that unlimited class here today. It was John Kester looking to sweep all 3 classes here today, but Jay Solstrom comes out to turn in a 10.5. But guess who's back? Vinny Nuzzolilli. You got her done with a 10.4, Vinny. Congratulations. Let's talk about that last ride.
Yeah, you know, it was I was 4th to last in the running order, so the hill was pretty chewed up and ruddy, and I knew I had footage from the first run, unfortunate crash, so had to make something happen, and everything just came together, hit my marks, and you know, knew it was going to be a good run, but wasn't really sure, and got down and got the number 1s from all my mechanics and stuff, so I knew it was a good day.
Awesome day for you, Vinny. How about your sponsors? Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, Watson Racing, Troy Lee Designs, Wiseco Performance Products, ASV Inventions, Yoshimura, GoPro, Spy Optics, my mom and dad for all their help behind the scenes, Rocket for helping alongside my dad wrenching on the bikes, and, you know, my fiance and my kid, just group effort, and I can't thank them enough.
Vinny, we look forward to seeing you in Middle Tennessee for round number 3.
Thank you, guys.
Well, race fans, John Flying Kester here. John, congratulations on 2 wins here today. Your most impressive win, a one and done again in the extreme class. Right now, you're unstoppable. That big bike class, however, Vinny Nuzzolilli snuck in there for the win.
Yeah, I'm pumped for Vinny for coming back off his hiatus there. He's had some issues over the years, and he's back on top now, but hopefully I can run him down.
All right. Well, John, looking forward to seeing you coming up round number 3, Middle Tennessee. How about your sponsors, John? Who would you like to thank?
I got to thank my mom and dad. They've supported me ever since I started racing. Timothy Customs, DCR camshafts, full travel suspension, PsychMX graphics, and Dynaport exhaust. And my mechanics, they put in unbelievable time this week to get that 450 where it needed to be, and we won with it. So it was all worth it.
All right, John. Thanks for talking to us here today.
Thank you.
Well, race fans, it was a heck of a day here today. Jay, you took 2nd place in all 3 classes. Let's focus on that unlimited class. You come out in round number 2 to take it away from John Kester, only for Vinny to come out 1/10 of a second faster. What a heartbreaker.
Yeah, for sure, and that's just kind of how it goes. You know, my first run wasn't really that great. It wasn't spectacular by any means. I knew I wanted to come back and re-up and have a better ride. So that was the game plan. You know, John edged me out in the 2nd round. You know, I could have went last, and I decided to go in turn. I thought the hill was just getting worse and worse, so I jumped in line and went for it. And I knew it didn't have to be pretty. You know, John didn't lay down a spectacular ride by any means, but you just had to get through the jumps clean. So we did that and took 5/10 off of his time. Was happy sitting in first, but you know, we just left a little bit on the table. You know, I wasn't necessarily hanging out, and I got burned by 10th. So I just got to put it to him.
Well, we'll see you back in round number 3, Middle Tennessee. Look forward to seeing you race then, Jay.
Absolutely, we'll be ready.
Well, that'll do it for round number 2 of the AMA Pro Hillclimb Series. We want to thank Bushkill Valley Motorcycle Club and the Freemansburg Hillclimb for another exciting round of action. We also want to thank Earls of Indy, Psychomix Graphics, Dynoport, and Weisco Performance Products. We'll see you round number 3 coming up in July as we head to Middle Tennessee Raceway. Be there.